People say money is sweet, but sometimes the way you get it can turn that sweetness into poison. This is not just a story about greed. It is a story about how one wrong choice can open the door to things you can never control. You will see joy. You will see pain. You will see the way fear can crawl into a man's heart until it breaks him apart. Once upon a time, in the busy city of Enugu, there lived a man called Samuel. Samuel was a mortuary attendant at St. Patrick's Mortuary. He was in his late 30s, slim, dark-skinned, and always looked like he carried the whole world's worry on his shoulders. His eyes were always darting around as if he feared someone would catch him doing something wrong, even when he had done nothing. Samuel's job was not easy. Every day he saw dead bodies, some young, some old, some peaceful, some broken. He washed them, dressed them, and made them ready for burial. It was a job most people would run away from, but Samuel had learned to live with it. After all, it gave him food to eat and paid the rent of his small one-room apartment. Yet, Samuel was not a happy man. He always wished for more. When he walked past the fine houses in New Haven or saw men driving big cars, something inside him burned. Why should life cheat me? He often asked himself. I work hard, yet I cannot boast of even a small car. He would look at his worn-out shoes and sigh. Samuel had one weakness, money. Not just the money he earned from his work, but extra money that could come fast and easy. He had borrowed from friends and even joined small gambling games, hoping to double his cash, but it always ended in loss. His heart was never satisfied. One evening, as he sat alone in his room, eating Gary with groundnut, he whispered, "If only I could make it big just once. If only one chance will come my way, I will take it." He didn't know that his wish would come true, but not in the way he wanted. It happened one hot afternoon. Samuel was arranging records at the mortuary when a black SUV drove into the compound. From it stepped a tall, broad man dressed in white agbada. His gold wristwatch shone under the sun, and his walking stick tapped on the floor as he moved. Everyone knew him. Chief Richard Obina, a powerful man in the city. Chief Obina smiled at Samuel, though his eyes were sharp like a hawk's. "Young man," he said, "I need a private word with you." Samuel's heart raced. Why would a man like Chief Obina want to talk to him? He followed the chief to a quiet corner. "I need something," Obina said in a low voice. "And you are the only one who can give it to me. There is a body here in this mortuary, the body of a police officer called Emmanuel Okoya. I want you to give me that body. Do it quietly, and I will reward you well." Samuel froze. "Give you the body? Sir, that is impossible. The family will come for it. There are records." Chief Obina raised his hand, cutting him short. "I said quietly. Nobody will know. I will handle everything else. All I need is you to roll the body out and deliver it to me tonight." In return, he pulled out a brown envelope stuffed with money. "You will have enough to live like a king for some time." Samuel's mouth went dry. The smell of the money filled his nose. His mind shouted, "No, this is dangerous, this is wicked." But his heart whispered, "Think of the rent. Think of new shoes. Think of the life you want." That night Samuel could not sleep. He tossed on his bed, sweating. He imagined himself holding the money, buying new clothes, eating in restaurants, and even renting a bigger house. Then he imagined the Okoya family crying when they discovered their son's body was missing. By morning, he had made his choice. Greed won. "I will do it once," he told himself. "Just this once. Then I will stop." At midnight, Samuel wheeled Emmanuel's body out of the cold room. The mortuary was silent, only the buzzing of a weak bulb above. His hands trembled as he pushed the trolley, his eyes darting left and right. He whispered, "Forgive me," though he didn't know if he was talking to God or to the dead. Outside, the black SUV waited. Chief Obina's driver helped lift the body into the car. Obina himself pressed the envelope into Samuel's hand. "Good boy. Keep your mouth shut, and more blessings will follow." Samuel nodded, though his heart was thundering. As the SUV drove away with Emmanuel's body, Samuel felt as if something heavy had left with it, something he might never get back. 2 days later, the Okoya family arrived. They were dressed in black, their faces swollen from crying. Emmanuel's mother clung to her husband's arm as she whispered, "I want to see my son. I want to see him before we bury him." Samuel's heart sank. He fumbled through the record book, but when he reached Emmanuel's name, his hand shook. He had written false notes, claiming Emmanuel's body had been transferred. But now the family was here, demanding to see him. "Please wait," Samuel stammered. "There must be some mix-up." The head of the mortuary, Mr. Johnson, heard the noise and came in. "What is happening here?" Emmanuel's father spoke firmly. "We came for my son's body." "Where is Emmanuel?" Johnson turned to Samuel. "Yes, where is the body?" Samuel's throat closed. It should be here. Maybe it was moved to another section. He quickly left the room, pretending to search, but cold sweat covered his body. Whispers spread among the staff. "Where is the body? Who signed the records? Why is Samuel acting strange?" That night, Samuel sat alone in the mortuary office. The lights flickered. The air felt heavy. Then he heard it, soft footsteps in the corridor. He jumped up, but when he looked, no one was there. He returned to his chair, trying to steady himself, but then a whisper brushed his ear. "Samuel." He leaped to his feet, his eyes wide. "Who is there?" Silence. The bulb above him blinked and went off. Darkness swallowed the room. In that darkness, Samuel thought he saw a shadow, tall, slim, wearing the faint outline of a police uniform. His lips trembled. No, it cannot be. But deep inside, he knew Emmanuel had returned. From that night, Samuel's life became a nightmare. When he tried to sleep, he dreamed of Emmanuel standing at the foot of his bed, his face pale, his lips whispering. "Why, Samuel? Why?" At work, whenever he opened a drawer or lifted a sheet, he half expected Emmanuel's eyes to stare back at him. He avoided looking in mirrors, because once in the mortuary bathroom, he looked into one and saw Emmanuel standing behind him, though when he turned, no one was there. His colleague Peter noticed. "Samuel, what is wrong with you? You look sick." "I am fine," Samuel lied, wiping sweat from his forehead. But Peter's eyes narrowed. One evening, Peter walked into the office when Samuel was alone, clutching the brown envelope of money. Peter's eyes widened. "So this is why you are acting strange. Where did you get that kind of money?" Samuel panicked. "It is nothing. Don't ask me questions." Peter smirked. "I don't need to ask. I know something is wrong. And if you don't want the whole world to know, you better share that money with me." Samuel's stomach twisted. Now, not only was he haunted by Emmanuel's ghost, he was also trapped by Peter's blackmail. Days later, the Okoya family came again, this time with louder voices and sharper anger. "Where is our son?" Emmanuel's father thundered. "If you do not provide his body, we will bring the police here." Mr. Johnson turned pale. He turned to Samuel. "What is happening? Where is Emmanuel's body?" Samuel swallowed hard. His tongue felt heavy. He wanted to confess, but fear gripped him. If he confessed, Obina would come for him. If he stayed quiet, the ghost would not leave him. Either way, he was trapped. That night, as Samuel arranged files, the cold room door banged open by itself. Cold air rushed out. The sheets covering the bodies fluttered. Samuel dropped the files, his knees shaking. Then he saw it, Emmanuel's body standing among the others. His eyes were open, glowing faintly. His lips moved, though no sound came out. Samuel screamed and ran out, falling on the wet ground outside. His chest heaved, his mind spinning. "I am finished. I am finished." The next morning, Samuel tried to convince himself it was a dream, but the fear in his bones told him it was real. The whispers followed him everywhere now. The Okoya family would not stop pressing for answers. Peter would not stop demanding money. Chief Obina had promised more rewards, but at what cost? Samuel had crossed a line he could never uncross, and Emmanuel's spirit would not let him rest. The grave was no longer silent. While Samuel was drowning in guilt at St. Patrick's mortuary, Chief Richard Obina was sitting in his grand mansion at Independence Layout. His house was the kind of place that made people whisper when they passed. Tall gates painted gold, marble floors inside, chandeliers hanging like stars, and guards standing like statues at the gate. But behind all that wealth, Chief Obina was a man restless for more. He already had businesses, lands, and respect in society, but he wanted power that would make him untouchable. And for that, he was willing to walk into darkness. He had heard from old friends about rituals of power, rituals that require the body of a strong man who died violently. Emmanuel Okoya, the police officer, was perfect. A man of courage, cut down before his time. Obina believed that by taking Emmanuel's body and using it in his secret ritual, he would gain the strength of Emmanuel's spirit. But Obina did not know that when you play with the dead, you are playing with fire. That night, Obina ordered his servants to stay away from the inner chambers of his mansion. In a candlelit room, Emmanuel's body lay stretched on a mat. Bowls of herbs, chalk markings, and burning incense filled the air with a strange smell. Obina knelt before the body, chanting words he had been taught. His voice echoed through the chamber. At first, all seemed calm. The candles burned steadily. The incense curled upward. Obina felt confident. But then, the air grew cold. The flames bent sideways, though no window was open. One candle went out by itself. Obina's eyes darted around. "It is only the spirits responding," he whispered to himself. Then Emmanuel's body shifted. Not much, just the twitch of a finger, but enough to make Obina stumble back. No, it is part of the ritual," he said, though sweat dripped down his face. That night, he dreamed of Emmanuel standing at the foot of his bed, blood dripping from his chest. Emmanuel's eyes glowed as he whispered, "You cannot rest until I rest." Obina woke up screaming. Back at the mortuary, Samuel's suffering was no lighter. He tried to work, but every drawer he opened seemed to sigh. Every corridor felt crowded, though no one was there. His colleagues whispered about him. Peter pressed harder. "Samuel, if you don't share that money with me, I will go straight to Johnson. I will tell him everything." Samuel clutched his head. "Leave me alone, Peter. I will give you what you want." But even as he handed Peter part of the money, Samuel heard Emmanuel's voice echo in the cold room. "Blood money, blood money." One night, while Samuel was locking the drawers, the lights blinked off. He heard dragging footsteps. Then he saw it. Emmanuel's face reflected in the glass door of a freezer. Only this time, Emmanuel's lips moved clearly. "Why did you sell me?" Samuel collapsed on the floor, shaking. Meanwhile, the Okoya family grew restless. Emmanuel's mother cried every night. "Bring me my son. I want to see him. I want to bury him properly." Emmanuel's father, Chief Okoya, was not a man to be ignored. He stormed into the mortuary with relatives. "If we don't get answers, we will bring the police. Somebody must tell us where our son's body is." Mr. Johnson, the mortuary head, turned red with shame. He glared at Samuel. "You handle the records. Where is Emmanuel?" Samuel's lips quivered. I don't know, maybe transferred." Chief Okoya slammed the desk. "Lies! We will not take this." The staff began whispering. Some suspected theft, others suspected foul play. But none knew the full truth. Back in his mansion, Chief Obina tried the ritual again. He painted chalk on the floor, placed Emmanuel's body in the center, and poured libations. His voice shook as he chanted. This time, the mirrors on the wall trembled. The reflection of Emmanuel moved differently from the body. While the body lay still, the reflection sat up. Obina froze. His voice cracked, but he forced himself to continue. "Power, come to me." The reflection in the mirror stood and walked toward him, though the body on the floor remained motionless. Obina stumbled back, clutching his chest. His guards rushed in after hearing his scream, but when they entered, the mirror was calm, and Emmanuel's body lay still. Obina dismissed them quickly, his heart pounding. That night, he heard whispers all around his bed. "Return me! Return me! Return me!" Samuel grew weaker each day. His eyes were hollow, his clothes untidy, his hands shaking. Peter followed him everywhere. "You think you can keep this secret?" Peter sneered. "One day it will destroy you." "Stop, Peter, stop! I beg you," Samuel whispered. But Peter's greed was sharp. He wanted more money, and he would not let Samuel rest. That evening, Samuel sat alone in the mortuary, crying softly. "What have I done? What have I done?" Then a cold wind swept through the room, scattering papers. The drawers banged open by themselves. The lights went out, leaving him in total darkness. In that silence, Emmanuel's voice boomed. "You betrayed me." Samuel screamed and fell to the floor. News spread through Enugu. People whispered that something strange was happening at St. Patrick's mortuary. Bodies are missing. The Okoya family is crying. Ghosts are roaming. Neighbors began to look at Samuel with suspicion. Children ran when they saw him. Even his landlord asked, "Are you bringing bad luck into this compound?" Samuel felt trapped. No peace at work, no peace at home. Chief Obina grew restless too. His ritual had failed twice, and each night the hauntings grew stronger. Servants complained of cold winds and strange cries in the mansion. One even quit, saying, "The house is cursed." But Obina refused to stop. He told himself, "On the third night, the power will come." He prepared stronger charms, drew darker markings on the floor, and locked himself in with Emmanuel's body. As midnight approached, the house grew silent. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, Obina's heart raced. He began to chant. The candles went out, one by one, leaving only the faint glow of the moon through the window. Emmanuel's body shifted again. This time, his head turned. His eyes opened. Obina froze, sweat dripping down his neck. The body's lips parted, and a whisper escaped. "You will not live!" Obina screamed. At that exact moment, across the city in the mortuary, Samuel collapsed as if struck by an unseen hand. His last words before fainting were, "Forgive me." The mortuary was in chaos. The Okoya family threatened to return with police. Peter sharpened his threats against Samuel. Strange events grew worse. And in Obina's mansion, the third night had only begun. The line between the living and the dead was breaking. And no one was safe anymore. Samuel could no longer eat. He could no longer sleep. The whispers of Emmanuel's ghost followed him everywhere. Sometimes he heard them in the mortuary. Sometimes he heard them in his tiny room. Sometimes, even in the busy streets, he felt a hand brush his shoulder, only to turn and see no one. Peter pressed him harder. "Samuel, if you don't give me the rest of that money, I will shout it to the world. Everyone will know you sold the body." Samuel trembled. His hands shook as he handed Peter another share of the money. But even as Peter counted it, the lights in the mortuary flickered. A cold wind swept the room. Paper scattered. Drawers banged open. Peter's smile faded. "What is happening?" Samuel whispered, "He is here." At the same time, the Okoya family returned to the mortuary with policemen. Emmanuel's mother cried out, "Give me my son. I want to bury him in peace." The policeman questioned Mr. Johnson. "Where is the missing body?" Johnson turned angrily to Samuel. "You handle the records. Speak now." Samuel opened his mouth, but no words came out. His throat closed as if an invisible hand squeezed it. Emmanuel's voice echoed in his ears. "Tell the truth." Tears streamed down Samuel's face. But before he could confess, a loud bang shook the mortuary doors. Everyone screamed. The air turned icy. The policemen looked around in fear. The Okoya family knew. Emmanuel's spirit was restless. Meanwhile, in his mansion, Chief Obina locked himself in the ritual room. Candles circled Emmanuel's body. Dark chalk markings covered the floor. Incense smoke curled around like snakes. Obina chanted louder than before, his voice shaking. "Spirits, give me power. Give me strength." But this night was different. The mirrors cracked. The candles went out. The windows burst open, though there was no wind. Emmanuel's body sat up slowly, his eyes glowing in the dark. Obina stumbled back, clutching his chest. "No, you are mine. I own you." Emmanuel's lips parted. His voice was no longer human. "You cannot own the dead. You cannot steal my peace." Obina fell to his knees, trembling. Back at the mortuary, Samuel screamed and fell to the ground. His body convulsed as if something inside him fought to come out. The policemen tried to hold him, but cold wind threw them back. Samuel's eyes rolled white. From his mouth came Emmanuel's voice. "He took me. He sold me. None of you will have peace until the truth is told." The Okoya family gasped. Samuel collapsed, panting. Yes, I sold him. Chief Obina gave me money. I took it. Forgive me." The mortuary filled with wailing. Emmanuel's mother fell on her knees, crying, "My son, rest. Rest, my child." But the ghost did not rest yet. In the mansion, Obina tried to continue the ritual, but Emmanuel's spirit rose stronger. The walls shook. The floor cracked. Obina fell back, his voice lost. Emmanuel's body stretched its hand toward him. The chief screamed, clutching his chest. He fell to the ground, his gold watch snapping off his wrist. His eyes froze wide with terror. He was dead. When his servants forced the door open, they found him lying beside Emmanuel's calm body. The mighty Chief Obina was gone. At the mortuary, Samuel thought confession would free him. But Emmanuel's ghost was not finished. That night, Samuel sat in the office, holding the last of the blood money. He whispered, "I am sorry. I swear I am sorry." The room grew cold. The money in his hand began to drip blood. He screamed, throwing it away, but the blood spread across the desk. His chest tightened. He gasped for air. By morning, Samuel's colleagues found him dead. His mouth was stuffed with blood-soaked notes. His face was twisted in terror. The whisper stopped. The police collected Emmanuel's body from Obina's mansion and returned it to the Okoya family. At last, they buried him with songs and tears. His mother whispered at the grave, "Rest now, my son. Rest in peace." The wind was calm. The night was quiet. For the first time since his death, Emmanuel's spirit was at peace. But the people of Enugu never forgot. They told the story of Samuel and Obina for years. Mothers warned their children. Fathers warned their sons. And elders shook their heads whenever greed was mentioned. Because the truth was clear, the dead are not toys for the living. Greed can blind a man, but the grave is sacred. If you betray the dead, you will betray yourself. Money that comes from evil will never last. When you take what does not belong to you, sorrow will follow. The dead deserve respect. If you break that respect, you open the door for fear, shame, and punishment. So always choose honesty. Always respect others, even those who are gone. Because peace only comes to those who do what is right. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you might not hear my voice again, but if you are, then you are growing every day. Check my page for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.